Hello and welcome to episode 5 of Duo Doers. In this episode we're going over some DIY garage lighting. It's a very simple garage light setup. We have some junction boxes in between each of our joists that lead to 2 cans on each side. We have about 10 altogether. You might have more, and because we don't have an enclosed ceiling, this is very simple and very cheap compared to what you would have to do if you had a closed ceiling. What we're using here is 10 ceiling boxes. They're 1 gang ceiling boxes. They're about $1.10 each, so they're pretty inexpensive. For our junction boxes, the rectangular ones that are in between each of them, there's 1 gang 22 cubic inch PVC electrical outlet boxes. These are called new work boxes. They're the ones that have the nails on the side that you can just nail in. We're also using about 25 feet, a little more than 25 feet of 14-2 gray solid wire. This wire comes with the black, white, and the copper ground wire. And you can get in 50 foot for about, I think, $25 or so. This one's about $13, $14 or so. They even have 100 feet of wire. This wire is really useful for every electrical thing you do. So if you buy 100 feet, you're going to be able to use that for multiple projects. We also are going to be using a little bit later here to connect all the 4 wires together. We're using the Ideal 34 yellow Ensure 4-port connector. 100 pack is about $8.71. I bought the 10 pack at first and I regret that. I should have just bought the 100 pack to begin with. You don't realize how many of them you end up using. It goes pretty quick. Tool wise, we're using a few different tools here. We're going to be using some needle nose pliers that have a cutting edge to them too, and we're going to use that for bending the wire. When you're doing your wiring, you need to make sure to bend the wire into J shape so it really secures around the screw that you're screwing to. We're also using self-adjusting wire strippers and utility knife, a Phillips flathead, and Robertson screwdrivers, and a hammer. Right here what I'm doing is I'm clearing out the plastic screw covers, because when you get these keyless lamp holders, the plastic ones, they have 2 separate places for where your screws go into your outlet boxes, and mine were covered for the box size I'm using, so I had to break those open with I just used a Phillips head screwdriver and a hammer, broke those up, and then you screw in the screws, and then you push it in and you twist it, so the screw heads come through it, and then you twist it and locks in place, and you tighten the screws to keep it nice and tight. For the screws that hold the wires, the white wire, your neutral wire, is going to go to the silver screw, and the black one is going to go to your bronze screw, and then your ground wire, your copper or green, should be just a pure copper wire, is going to go to the green screw that's on your outlet box. And my luck is each screw is different. So one was Phillips, one is flathead, and then the other one's Robertson. So you want to have a screwdriver that's all of them. I use my Husky multi-bit screwdriver. It's a ratcheting screwdriver, so it makes driving it a little bit easier. What you're going to do is, first I take my length of wire, I use my arms to length it out. You just want about 4 inches or so in the box on both sides, and that's because you're going to cut the main wire and feed it through the ports on the top or sides. You got to push it through, it's going to go through. So if it's being a little difficult, go ahead and take your screwdriver and push down the flaps in your outlet boxes and push the wire through. You're going to need the extra wire just in case something goes wrong and you need the extra wire. You can just push the wire through and get to work. Right here I am putting the screws for the covers in first, because I realized that I can do all of them in one go and not have to worry about them anymore. I can at that point just pop them in. The screws were really long, so I used my drill for that. Once you feed that wire through to your outlet box, you're going to go ahead and cut about 1.5 to 2 inches of the sheeting off. I'm going to bend that sheeting back. It's just like a rubbery sheeting. You go bend that back. Your 3 wires get exposed. Sometimes there's a paper wrapped around certain things. I'm just taking those wires and like pulling them apart so I can easily identify, here's the black one, here's the white one, and here's the copper. And then I'm using my self-adjusting wire strippers and cutter to strip the last 1/2 inch or so of the wire, and that should expose 1/2 inch of the black wire, 1/2 inch of the white wire, and 1/2 inch of the copper wire. Well, the copper wire is going to be all exposed, and that's okay. And once you have that, you want to take the tip of that and make it into a little J. And that's going to ensure, like I said it before, a good connection to the screws. You want to make sure to do that because the movement as you're pushing things in, things can move around, and you don't want those wires to loosen up. I've seen people put the wires straight in, and as they're pushing things into the boxes, the wires move, and now the light's no longer working. And for these junction boxes, just you guys do same process happening this entire time. Unsheathing the wires, stripping the wires, and then in this case, instead of putting them into screws, I'm using the Ideal Insure 4-port connectors. And that one, it's nice. You just push it into the connector, make sure it's all the way to the tip of it, and it'll stay there nice and tight. All blacks to blacks, whites to whites, and the coppers to coppers. And once you have all that done, you're going to want to head and go and put a wall plate on the outlet boxes to ensure that no dust or water or anything gets in there, and it'll seal that up nice and tight. It's about 90 cents each, or even less some places. And thank you guys again for watching another episode of Duo Doers. We do post videos every Wednesday. You can follow us on Instagram or Facebook for the latest updates, and go ahead and hit that subscribe button to see our next video. Thank you.